Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Manichean series here on the Lore Master channel. But obviously, we're not Manichean at the moment, but we will be again. I've only converted to Mahayana Buddhism for the reasons of, I don't know. Some would say political move, others say exploitation because of use of lots of money to do all these activities and decisions related to Buddhism for prestige gain. And soon I will do at least one or two more activities by spending the great wealth that we've been making lots of money with. Which, matter of fact, you should establish a trade route right now, so that we may get increased funds for this. And also you should build a local Buddhist religious site for the reasons that it'll give me more, prestige. Piety or renown are equal, but I just prefer more prestige intensive these days because I just want to get as much prestige as possible until I said, okay, I believe that's enough that we have. For one, convert to the local Khotanese Saka culture. 2, hybridize with the Uyghur culture because I'm not sure how much it'll cost. And 3, declaring wars of vassalizations or holy wars when we're Manichean again, to expand westwards towards Sogdiana. Now, for still context, ever since Buddhism was founded, elites have often patronized the construction of religious sites or maintenance of existing ones as a way to accumulate great spiritual merit. For the 3 jewels. Ever since the days when the Lord Buddha walked the earth, Buddhists of all kinds, from the humblest commoners to the mightiest emperors, have funded the construction of various religious sites to pay homage to the Buddha, propagate the Dharma, and inspire the Sangha. I will do likewise, as my duty to set an example as a leader, not to mention I could accumulate great merit for myself in doing so. As the first order of business, I should decide what kind of site to construct in the first place. A temple, which will give you more prestige and piety. A monastery, receive more piety and prestige. A stupa, equal amounts. And unlike the past Buddhist playthroughs I did, I never had the option to build a pagoda, because that's usually for those of the East Asian canon of Mahayana Buddhism. So a pagoda, is a tower that could simultaneously serve as a temple and a site of pilgrimage. When the pagoda is finished in about a year or two, you will receive equal amounts of piety and prestige in contrast to sites. The bonuses for a pagoda will also be greater, but constructing a pagoda will requires at least 125 gold. So that option is available because Mahayana follows the Mahayana canon. Okay, not the East Asian canon. It's also known as Chinese or East Asian canon. But they say rewards to bonuses will be greater, so pagoda then. Pagodas are a type of Buddhist tower that evolved from stupas. They are commonly found in East and Southeast Asia. These grand structures typically store holy relics, but have other uses such as places to offer sacrifices to ancestors or to worship local spirits. When done, they found an excellent location for a new pagoda. They will undoubtedly be a magnificent landmark. Additionally, as I gather resources and people to assist me with this endeavor, I need a clear plan on what to do. For example, I discussed with the local Bakus whether the structure will be added to an existing religious complex or stand on its own somewhere else. I also need to choose how large this building will be. Once that's decided, construction will start. Small will cost you 125, 250 for medium, and 375 for large. So when it's done in 1 or 2 years, you will gain 300 piety, 300 prestige, and funded construction large Buddhist pagoda, which gives me this equal amount of monthly prestige and piety here. And for Qatun in the next 10 years, once it's finished, more holding taxes and popular opinion here. I'm all about taxation these days. And also I'm suspicious that there's raiders coming to our land, so it would be wise to raise the men-at-arms right here, right now. Get me them too. There you go. Much more like it. And if need be, some levies would be suffice. Phew. It'll take you that long to raise an army. But we're here and we're waiting for them to do something stupid. Should they decide to raid Khatan. I mean, we're being raided elsewhere, but that's coming to our direction, or they're leaving. Stand down. All of you. Stop. I was a little suspicious of them, of what they were going to do. Great massacre. Smith the suzerain. And I inherited Karia because she died of internal injuries. And don't forget you also have Dandan Oilik as well. So try that again. Give me a look of I'm the noble. At least it gives you more cultural access between us and them. Oh, the divorced. Well, sorry for your loss. You will also have Dandan Oilik. You know, I could have held it for myself, but no, I did it out of goodwill. I don't know why Qatun and Vaman are just two distinctly different things. Nevertheless. I'm going to be saving my money to go on a pilgrimage to the Bamiyan Buddhas. And bring those Silk Road merchants with you. The justice ordinances. For some time now, it's been mentioned across several meetings in different places of the realm about the need to enact significant justice reforms in order to pave the way for a smoother trade environment and better overall security in the provinces. If I'd started and commit myself to this line of thought, fearful of the potential drain my coffers could suffer, I started creating the expectation this reform would go forward. Now in close garbage between my council and my vassals, a proper document, with full expenses calculated, is on the table. Everybody's looking at me to sign it. This is for legitimacy gain, even though legitimacy is at the max. But it does add up control level to all these places, which doesn't need it right now. If I refuse to sign, I lose legitimacy. Or just threaten everyone into forgetting the matter by gaining dread. I'll take the legitimacy hit. Refuse to sign it. It's already high enough anyhow, so it's not that big of a deal. Plus the legitimacy gain is very high. Ever since I wanted you, you actually came over to me. How nice of you. Great you show submission to the Qatun. Chieftain Sven. Oh yeah. They came from a line of adventurers who... Like who was that? Hrolf. Wait a minute. That's a historical character. So this landless adventurer who came all the way from Norway and decided to travel to the steppe, and this is one of his last living sons who is doing poor right now, who converted to Mongol culture living there, and he has no children of his own. Should have had secondary spouses. Oh, and additionally, not only converted to Mongol culture, but also Mahayana Buddhist. So I would have thought descendants of Norse raiders became Buddhists over there. Very interesting, to say the least. That's a nomadic hunt. Can't do that. But we'll begin the pilgrimage there. It'll take a while to get here from Khotan to over there. It's just like with the place. You gotta have this modifier again, but more prestige. It'll be a bit of a longer travel than usual. For the development, for the prestige and the renown. And it'll cost you this much. It'll be a role model. Yeah, it'll be similar to the pilgrimage to Donghuang. And you've seen the decision of the pilgrimage to the Bamiyan Buddhas back in the Zunbil playthrough, but that's from a non-Buddhist perspective. This one's going to be from the Buddhist perspective for once. And plus, I get to visit a few places. That'll give me more stewardship. And of course, the Bamiyan Buddhas themselves. But for safety reasons, get the mercenaries. So take a shortcut to there for more stewardship lifestyle experience. And then go to this mining settlement on the way back, and then travel through the mountains, and then be back here. Got it? If anybody that wishes to come over, you may do so. Because I'm also in need of protection on the way. Just looking at all these different places over there. Yeah, I've been down there one time. Let's go. Enough time wasting. Many who practice the Buddhist doctrine know of the Great Valley of Bamiyan. It is the home of two magnificent luminous statues of monumental size which are carved into the side of the cliffs there and represent Gautama Buddha, the historical Buddha of our times, and Vairocana, the primordial Buddha. For generations, people have traveled to these statues on pilgrimage. I intended to do likewise. I finished my preparations for this pilgrimage, and I'll head to the statue soon. May the Buddhas protect us on our journey. So I forgot to tell you the historical context here, which again, the Bamiyans have served as a place of worship for Buddhists of many generations. The mighty Buddhas of Bamiyan carved into the mountainside are greatly venerated and depict the historical Gautama Buddha and the Vairocana The primordial first Buddha. So for historical context, in the late antiquity and early medieval period, Bamiyan served as a religious center for the Mahasamgika sect of Buddhism, which was affiliated with Mahayana ideas. The famous Bamiyan Buddhist statues were likely built by Hephthalite elites under Turkic rule in the area around 600 CE, and represent a late evolution of Gandharan art styles by incorporating Iranian and Indian styles and motifs. For instance, an artwork by the smaller Buddhist statue features a solar deity, perhaps the Iranian Mitra. Anyways, various primary sources such as 7th century Chinese pilgrim Zhuangzang and 8th century Korean pilgrim Heyzhou and the 10th century Islamic scholar Ibn al-Nadim make mention of this site, attracting many pilgrims and the various rituals associated with it. You can do this because you are Buddhist. And if you're a non-Buddhist, then the pilgrimage to the statues is just more of sightseeing than anything else. But for us Buddhists, this is a ritual, which has never before seen in this video series here, or any of my video series in the past whenever I played as Buddhists. My attempt to establish a trade around the counties brought flocks of merchants to my counties, and a very profitable commercial network was established, dealing with all sorts of precious wares from faraway places. Great. Rich trade route. That's at the max! Because there's minor, significant, busy, major, or rich. You got the rich trade route. Domain taxes plus 30%! Right? 22.1 monthly. I know an oasis nearby. So, well, we just left Khotan and we decided, well, we're turning around. Haggling failed, which we can always get more prestige by any means anyhow. So I'm looking to gamble on it. Who the hell are you guys? Uyghur wildcats. Because they were present in our territory. Try again. 81 gold. We've been traveling much of the day, weary and tired, as there has been a good place to properly rest for several hours. Was this supposed to be a well-traveled road? Yet, lo and behold, we eventually saw a small stream of water, and what more, there were old, worn-out bronze cups hung by chains to a nearby boulder. It seems that the locals, or perhaps whoever's in charge of this region, generously provided water to these cups to travelers to more easily collect water. So, thanks at Dark Death for this refreshing water. Now we're going to mountain country. Joining against the dauntless outlaws. Landless adventurer. Who wants a part of your territory. But as per usual, I'll continue to manage things from here. Your own archery contest, huh? That's good to know. This is a rooming mining settlement. As I stroll around the market at Iskamish, a loud ruckus comes from just a couple of stalls down me. There's a furious woman, animated and waving her hands. Poramaji Vijayanavati will have your head for this, she yells at another merchant who looks, if possible, even angrier. I would love to see her try. The stall owner dismisses the merchant with a wave of his hand, angrily turning to one of the bodyguards. The merchant clearly tends to get a deal one way or another. Seems like a perfect time to make some coins. 74% chance that I take advantage of the situation and I gain 40 gold. 25% chance that I'll be taken advantage of and I have to pay 20 gold. Took advantage of that. Gamble. 75 gold. When I become Manichean again, I'm definitely going to spend that money on a grand temple, which the building is now cheaper these days. Thanks to so many modifiers. And visit the Sayasang ancient mine. Oh, and by the way, another benefit to having a grand temple in Khotan when we have that built. It'll be its own university, so we don't have to travel to other places like Kashmir. We can just do it right here. Convenience. No longer my tutor. You'll do. Our journey has unfortunately brought us directly to the wastelands of Saikokan. We were not prepared to undertake this long stretch without a single source of water, and many of my companions have begun to look as awful as dried parsnips. I need to do something, and fast. My caravan master voice drinks like a horse, no more. He's severely dehydrated, thus poor health. Here we are, Buddhas of Bamiyan. Everyone is elated when we arrive at the Valley of Bamiyan, for the valley's two great Buddhist statues came into our view. This can only mean one thing. Immediately, we begin performing religious rituals as we slowly make our way to the statues, chanting, prostrations, burning of incense, and more. The tradition here is that the moment one sees the statues, one must begin doing these rituals. The rituals must be done continuously performed until one reaches the statues. I can only hope that the Buddhists will assist me in staying focused so I don't botch these rituals. Because if I do, then I'm supposed to go back to the location where I first saw the animals and do this all over again. I'll do my utmost to stay focused. I'll gain no stress because of my very high learning skill. Because there's an 85% chance that I'll perform the statues without getting distracted. 50% chance I'll get distracted along the way. For historical context, the Kitab of Fihrist, a 10th century compendium of knowledge by the Islamic Persian scholar Ibn al-Nadim, makes note of some of the customs surrounding the Buddhist statues of Bamiyan. Supposedly, if pilgrims were negligent in performing necessary religious rituals on the way to statues, they would have to go back to where they first saw the statues and redo everything again. Ibn al-Nadim may have been privy to this information because Bamiyan and some of its royal family likely still remained Buddhist into the 10th century. Do not forget, the land of Afghanistan as we know today was once Buddhist and Hindu country. And to some degree Zionist. Finally, I arrived at the magnificent Buddhist statues of Bamiyan. The two statues tower over myself and everyone present. The larger statue represents Amarokana, the primordial Buddha who symbols ultimate wisdom and enlightenment, and from all other Buddhas emanate. The smaller statues of Siddhartha, the historical Buddha. While I performed many rituals on the way to these statues, there is still more to do, such as the offerings of incense, making spiritual vows and aspirations, and providing offerings to the statues. Perhaps I could make even more offerings to show that I am a devoted Mahayana. I'll do both. Make offerings to both statues. So, the offerings, extra offerings from the Siddhartha Buddha statue in the next 10 years gives me +1 learning, multi-party, stress loss. And a Vairocana Buddha statue, multi-party, and stress gain, and a bit of monthly lifestyle experience. Do it. After I finished performing all the necessary religious rituals I had to do as part of my pilgrimage to the Buddha statues of Bamin, I took the time to explore and better appreciate the site where these statues are located. There are many caves and surfaces surrounding the two statues, which are painted with murals depicting a wide range of subjects, from mighty kings to solar deities. Though the paint is faded and not of the same vibrant quality when this place was first created by the devout followers of Buddhism, it is still a breathtaking sight. Alas, though one could easily spend days examining each and every cave, I only have so much time here. With my spiritual experience concluded, it's now time to go home. May the three jewels grant us their blessing. 200 piety, an additional 75, 75 prestige, or an additional 100 prestige. Got this again. Bit of experience at the pilgrim trade. 200 more prestige with legitimacy. Development growth, Qatun, 50 renown. Yes. Our pilgrimage to the Bamiyan Buddhas has come to an end. Seeing the Buddhist statues of Bamiyan up close has been spiritually inspiring. No joy. And then we visit this mine in Panjshir. Damn. Hey, just be glad that your trade route worked out. That was just some extra embellishment. I impressed them. Keep trying. We got gold. 82. As I travel along the road, I notice a frail-looking peasant standing on the side of the path. As I inspect him more closely, he appears to be holding a small bundle. Please, hold a moment. Times have been tough since my spouse passed, and I'm at my wit's end. Would you be interested in buying my child? It would painstakingly deeply. I cannot afford to keep her, and I must sell her to save what is left of my family. Her name is Sveran. One-eyed and club-footed. You one-eyed, club-footed too? No, you're one-legged and one-eyed. You know, due to my lack of children, I'll adopt her as one of my own. Shall we, my friend? I'll take the renown hit. Because, you know, we want to get out of this bottleneck of this dynasty as possible, so for once in my life, I'm actually going to adopt her. So I'll raise her myself. Well, we have to be at court first before we can make that happen, so. Oh, I just noticed, what's your... Oh, you're malnourished. of Pamiri culture and of Maturidi faith. Well, when we convert to Manichaeism, it's not going to be that much of a worry. Especially when we adopt the culture. Create the culture. Yes. And all that. Kubasa. I'm proud to see my son is no longer as a child, but as an adult. A natural administrator from birth. It should surprise no one that Kubasa has come far in his studies of the management of the realm, displaying through understanding of the flow of gold and the wanderings of people. He even expresses a remarkable creativity in dealing with these matters. They grow up fast. You are a fortune builder, sir. That's pretty good. But it could be better. But don't forget your high diplomacy and high learning comes from these past modifiers. You are calm, temperate, and humble, so you're more of a religious man yourself, in addition to your stewardship. Oh, and as for that patrol thing, you could break that off because it's kind of irrelevant. Because you need to get married immediately due to lack of children. And I want someone with high stewardship. If someone has the architect trait, because we're in need of an architect, if possible. Because I know sometimes there are wandering women that are architects. Keep looking. And of course there are those who have better traits, but... Oh, reincarnation. Keep looking. One of you has got to have architect. Because we are in need of that. Okay. Okay. We'll sort that out. What the? No, never mind. Those who are fertile. Yes. Architect. Any of you. There's only two. Fortunately, there's a local around here. Alright. Fine. Even though I was a bit of an eager reveler. But not a good person, so it'll be her. And plus it's the only one that's not landed, so lucky us. Not sure about her stewardship skill, but bring her in. You're marrying this person even though she's unlanded, so not lowborn, so that doesn't hurt. Get rid of that. So we should be alright here. So you're marrying a local woman. What she comes from all the way over to there. Well, at least you're getting out of there because there's a disease out there, as I could tell by the blackened areas. Well, once she arrives here at court, I'll name her as Royal Architect. In fact, make her Architect right now because look at that. Stewardship skill, Architect, and her Dynasty of Kashya. Oh, you're from the Kashgar dynasty. Kashya, that's the second word for Kashgar. Of sense of purpose. Aha. Makes it better. Oh, we're so glad to bring you here. This is for a reduction of building construction time. This is why I brought you here. Because when the time comes, when we build a grand Manichean temple in Khotan, you'll definitely make it happen. Development does keep going up bit by bit, but if you improve upon it, this goes faster monthly. Oh yes, keep it up. It'll be a great and grand city, you know. Better than Kocho. While traversing the challenging path and Dari but I hear laughter at my caravan master Bush and my bodyguard Svenchik are working together across a steep rocky torrent. Bush, your idea to make the makeshift bridge was brilliant, exclaims Svenchik. Bush replies to Chuckle, and your quick thinking with those ropes tied it all together. It seems as if this obstacle has led to a new friendship. Your ingenuity is commendable with haste journey. Not just commended, because I want to take a sweet time of travel a few more days for more Silk Road trade opportunities. It's alright. You just hope she has safe travels on the way. Otherwise there's never going to be another one like her. And then we have to find a man who is an architect that we can invite over. I know, Oasis nearby, turn around. Oh. You know what? You both for children. Hand it over. Give me the money. Cross some lot. Make a mention too. Yeah, just give me the money because it's to raise a fund for Grand Temple. But there's actually a few more things I want to do with that said money. And my physician just died. Well, we can hire another one. About damn time too. Why the hell not? Let's hold a Sade festival. I mean, after all, we're slowly, you know, adopting the cultural ways of, you know, of them, you know. And again, we're not of the Arya cultural pillar, but Vamna is locally. And we're just on a month of November. So when a colder winter sweeps across the land, it's time for the Sade Festival, the traditional winter celebration of the Iranian world. So this text is probably going to sound weird when I do this, because I've done it before in the Zunbil series. So as a reminder, for historical context, Sadeh is the traditional Iranian winter festival that takes place 50 days before Nowruz. During the medieval period, it was enthusiastically celebrated by both Muslims and Zoroastrians alike in Iran, including several monarchs. The kindling of large bonfires forms a core component of festivities, including, at least in medieval times, the odd practice of driving beasts and birds into the flames to set them on fire. At any rate, early Islamic texts ascribed to the establishment of Sadeh to the epic hero Husang, who discovered fire by accident and thereafter wished to commemorate this boon. And no, you don't have Yez, and you're not Zoroastrian to have the ability to celebrate at Chak Chak. It'll be a grand celebration because we have the money to do so. More prestige will be held right here. You can do it for fun, be a spectacle, or for poetry. And also, again, you're not Zoroastrian to have this. So, should go for poetry. I'll be inspired by or write poetry during Sadao. Guaranteed to get an event about poetry to gain a beneficial modifier. Also gain prestige and piety. And from this event, normally you would not. So now we're just observing a local custom here. Because those people here, these locals. What? My son and Eric Kubasar has fallen ill of consumption. Future's uncertain. Death lingers close by his side. Yeah, not all is lost. He might survive, luck be on his side. Consumption ain't nothing to mess with. We're still trying to search for a physician. Just hang on, son. I already called for one. Who are you? Ah, Uyghur. So it's widely known in scholarly circles. She's excellent. She's a physician, almost a renowned physician. And she's also an herbalist too. Get to it. And this man's also excellent, but we already have one hired. Get a treatment, son. Come on. The rook of the room is pushed back by somewhat sputtering flames. On the physician's table lies Kubasar, her form rigid with scared anticipation. It's time to decide how to treat Kubasar's consumption. Several potential treatments are available, ranging from typical to unorthodox. It is up to me to decide which best fits Kubasar's particular needs. Do no more than what is necessary. Failed treatment. Oh no! He's gonna die! And that leaves me with her, my adopted daughter, who's one-eyed and club-footed. It'll take a miracle for him to recover. Winter has returned and there's a chill near. This year I wish to celebrate the great Sadeh festival, as our predecessors in Iran have done for generations upon generations. On a coldest day of the year, 50 days before Nowruz, we will observe Sadeh with the lighting of bonfires. Although again, it sounds weird on the text because we're not Iranian in any way, shape, or form. Of us, some Uyghurs, we're Turks, but yet we're very xenophilic. That's our cultural tradition. We are very curious and cheerful folk when it comes to foreigners and bringing their customs over, especially the local Vamna culture here. So start by preparing for this year's celebration. I've just received news that the pagoda, which I ordered built a while back, has finally been completed. It rises high and will undoubtedly inspire many here to the greater faith in the three jewels. Local bhikkhus and laites started to organize efforts to maintain the structure and to ensure that it can remain standing for generations to come. Simply beautiful. That it is. That it is. And now we get even more holding taxes here. It is almost the night of the Sadeh festival, though maybe the coldest time of the year. We find warmth in each other, and warmth in the fires we make, across the Iranian world, including here locally. Bonfires are being lit up in every town and village near and far, and they find joining each other who want for the return of spring. It's finally here. Let's begin. It's going to be the first and only time I hold these, before I adopt and hybridize the culture. These days, many kings and lords across the Iranian plateau have practiced the custom of lighting birds and animals on fire during Sadeh. That is, these wild beasts would be driven in a fire, and the spectators would eat and drink and be merry as they observed the commotion, preferably from a safe distance. Pious scholars and holy people of all religions, including that of Islam and Zoroastrianism, have condemned the practice as cruel and contrary to the faith's teachings. However, it could be a lot of fun. If we did it, should orders such respect would be carried out this year? For the prestige. Come now, why can't we have some fun? Let's see some animals burn. 50 prestige gain, spend 50 piety. And you set the animals on fire next to you, so it's for stress gain. Note I had a faith, even though I don't have one. Won't like it. For context, during the medieval period, sources such as the great 11th century Iranian scholar al-Biruni mention how animals were essentially lit on fire as part of the Sadeh celebrations. Some, like al-Biruni, condemned it as cruel and un-Islamic. His Zoroastrian counterparts seem to share his viewpoint. Still, it appears to have been a popular custom among the Iranian kings of the era. It is possible this practice was not only pre-Islamic, but of non-Zoroastrian origin as well. So, if its original purpose is unknown. As the coldest night of the winter, Sadeh has often inspired many people to compose poems and describe the glory of fire. I have just listened to 3 commoners recite their Sadeh-inspired poetry. One poem compares a bonfire to an exquisite flower or tree or entire garden blossoming in a winter landscape. The second poem describes the occasion as a conflict between the forces of Siddhartha and Mara. The last poem retells the origins of Sadeh as celebrations of how the mythological Iranian heroes of ancient times, like saying, slew fearsome monsters like dragons. Which one I think is best? Knowing my background, I'll say an epic poem about valiant old heroes. Plus 1 martial and intrigue. 50 prestige. According to the old traditions, it's important to light fires near running water or over a Khanate, or one of the old underground channels. This is to ensure that with the help of Virodaka, the plants aren't too cold or frozen out there. That way next year they'll grow to be great and bountiful. I'm not sure if it helps, but I'll do it anyways. And with that, Sadeh comes to a close. Everyone had a great time, and the bonfires we lit all over certainly helped everybody keep warm in this coldest time of year. Sooner than later, springtime will be upon us. Alas, such an occasion only comes once a year, so we must wrap things up for now. Until then, however, I look forward to the next Sadeh. Until next time, 150 prestige. More monthly prestige gain. Find a relaxing experience. Oh, son. Please, survive this. It's just your botched treatment. If you do survive, I'm actually going to give you an artifact. And if I lose you, then my adopted daughter will be the one to lead, even though she doesn't have an eye and is club-footed. I forgot we still have taxpayers. You could be a taxpayer, Kovasan. Something for you to do. Although, quite honestly, I don't think you should be leading an army either, son. Because your prowess isn't that great, as far as I'm concerned. There you are. Forbid you. How hard can endure this kind of pain without breaking? It cannot be possible, yet here I am, my heart beating whilst yours gone quiet. Oh, Bonak, my sweetheart, life will not be the same without you. At least the memories will remain. You succumbed to the fatal apoplexy. You were a good man to help out in battles and such. But I would like to remarry someone with high stewardship. Because I'm going to need that stewardship. Although not that high, but, you know, that's someone that's of a noble family. You. You'll do, even though you have a bit of a bad reputation yourself. But it's good enough in my eyes. Yeah, whenever needed. About to get another perk here, which I'll get professional workforce, which will reduce even more building construction time. We gotta make it happen. The opportunity is there. Just wait for it. Because I think it's about that time, ladies and gentlemen, when we reach 500 some odd gold, which I believe it'll cover the cost of building a Grand Manichean temple here in Qatun. The shot of old age, not traveling anywhere at this time. Let's do it. First things first. First off, cultural. Look at them. They're way advanced than the Uyghur culture, which they're about to get these in 2 years' time, but no. We want to go ahead right now. So, first decision, at least now it's at peace. Actually, hold on. The Mahabodhi. A massive donation can be done once in a lifetime. I remember this. Building construction. I'm glad that I have not done that yet. Donations. Yeah. We should donate to the Mahabodhi. As a powerful Mahayana Qatun, it is my duty to protect and aid the Buddhist Sangha community in any way I can. As such, I wish to donate the Mahabodhi complex of Bodh Gaya, the holiest site in Buddhism, to support the monastics and pilgrims there. Choose to how much to donate the Mahabodhi. Determine the Buddhist modifiers you get. If your highest is at least king tier, and since I'm emperor tier, and Gaia does not have a grand royal donation counting modifier, you have the option to pay 300 to sponsor a massive construction and repair project in the Mahabodhi, something far beyond the ordinary. Well, is that the case over there? Right now. Has nobody made a grand donation yet? No, nobody's done it. Excellent. And still Buddhist country too. For context, in the ancient and medieval eras, the Mahabodhi was supported and expanded thanks to donations from Buddhist laity and clergy from across the Buddhist world. These range from offerings of food at the stupas to repairing buildings to the construction of new facilities. For example, in the 11th and the 13th and 14th century, Burmese kings funded major reconstruction efforts for the temple complex. One time only, for the 3 jewels. I am preparing to give the Mahabodhi temple complex in Gaia a substantial donation as the so-called navel of the earth, where Lord Buddha attained enlightenment centuries ago. It is important it survives as a center of worship and pilgrimage for the Sangha. There are a number of things my donations to the Mahabodhi could go towards. I could provide funds to support the monastics who live there and maintain the place, or if I'm feeling more generous, I could even send funds to do miscellaneous repairs to existing buildings or construct smaller structures. So, again, it's more pie to game, but it's something that does more of it. So, small donation, 50 gold. Medium donation, 100 gold, and also a bit more prestige. Large donation, 150, and some of that. But it'll be a massive donation, which will be done once in a lifetime. Which other Buddhist rulers will be unable to give the massive donation to the Mahabodhi while Gaia has a modifier for the next 25 years over there. I will gain 500 piety, 250 prestige, 100 renown, and due to the grand donation of my body for the next 20 years, I get plus 3 diplomacy, more piety, monthly renown, and all that. Yes! News is traveling across the Buddhist world about the devout Qatun Sati, who recently donated a significant amount of resources and funding to the Mahabodhi temple complex. This donation will be used to build, rebuild, and repair structures and facilities there. Any leftover money will be spent on supporting the site's continued operations. The Mahabodhi is known to many Buddhists as the navel of the earth, the place where the Lord Buddha attained enlightenment many centuries ago. As such, it continues to serve as the most important center of worship and pilgrimage for the Buddhist Sangha. An endeavor like this comes only once a generation. So Buddhist Savior will surely rejoice, and Qatun Sati can be rest assured that she will be remembered by fellow Buddhists as a noble and righteous monarch, alongside distinguished rulers like Emperor Ashoka. Splendid! Why not donate to the Nalanda University as well? So as a powerful Qatun, it is my duty to assist learned, holy men and women in studying and propagating authentic Mahayana teachings. One way to do that would be providing a large donation or endowment to the great University of Nalanda in Murga, which is a preeminent center of Buddhist learning. For context, throughout its history, Nalanda was financially supported by donations and endowments from both commoners and elites alike. Some even came from lands far from India. For example, Balaputra, a 9th century Srivijaya in Indonesia, a noted patron of Nalanda, provided with an endowment of several villages' revenues for its upkeep and had a monastery built there. May Nalanda continue to thrive. For centuries, Nalanda University has served as a major center of learning and religious studies for Buddhism. Monastics from all over come to study and exchange ideas about philosophy, religion, linguistics, and translation, and more. As a Mahayana ruler, I have the means to give a sizable donation to this venerable institution to assist the university with its daily operations in a variety of ways. 80 gold all the way to max. Build and repair its temples and facilities. Donated funds to construction projects. Plus 2 stewardship and piety. So, this will rebuild or repair older structures and construct new ones as well. These buildings could be anything from student dormitories to small temples and stupas to warehouses for food and supplies. Excellent. More stewardship makes me feel good. Alright, enough dilly-dally. Convert to local culture. Truth be told, there's little separating my traditions from those of the people in my capital. We observe the same holy days, same public feasts, and our language has become almost the same. Well, not really. There's a lot of difference between the language of the Vamna and the Uyghur. But we became close and brotherly these days. So I acknowledge who I am. Which would mean my adopted daughter will also adopt the Vamna culture, but it'll be hybridized very soon. So, no longer you'll refer to me as Qatun. You'll now refer to me as the Renam Reina. Which could mean the roughly Queen of Queens, like King of Kings. Because I've never seen an Emperor tier title for the Vamna language, the Khotanese Saka language. The Renam Reina. And what did it call for that? Vrundam Bre. Bre is king in the Khotanese Saka language, but the Vrundam, I'm not sure what that means. Unless it's an equivalent to Shan Shah, much like the Reina would be the equivalent to, you know, me being the, you know, the Beneption, whatever. Okay, that was the next step. Now, we're in the early medieval era. But please wait until you're the culture head. You are the culture head. And for doing that, my glory is widely known. I became the culture head of the Vamna culture. So now we will hybridize with the Uyghur culture, so we don't abandon our ways all the way. Uyghur Vamna is what it'll be called. Uyghur Vamna. A little bit of pinkish color. So how about this shade? So it's similar to this, and the color of the, the Uyghur culture, which was, around that color as you see the impassable terrain here. Actually, a little bit more. It almost looks like it's bright pink, but not like hot pink as far as my knowledge is concerned. I mean, I knew a lovely woman who loved Worf wearing hot pink. But anyways, so here's how it goes for this hybrid culture, besides the color and the name. Spiritual worked out pretty well for us as the Uyghur culture, but the Khotanese Saka bureaucratic one says rulers can adopt the ministerial government type as a king, as well as when they are emperors. So it doesn't have to be an empire. You can be a kingdom and form administrative. And for all the characters, monthly lifestyle experience plus 10%, and cultural fascination progress plus 5%. So you're a bit more advanced, which is why it explains why they're more advanced than the Tokharians, the Kushinya. And all of its counties, development growth goes up. So it's certainly better than what it would suggest with spiritual. Me. Even though we're not as religious intensive as we were in earlier generations, when we were Manicheans. But we will revert to Manichean back. So, here's how it's going to. We're going to keep the Turkic culture. I'm not interested in keeping the Iranian culture. Instead, we're keeping Turkic, Tukla. And we will retain the Shah's Turkic language instead of speaking East Iranian. Martial classes still men only, obviously. And what the Vamna do not have, that we Uyghurs do have, is mustering grounds and banners. And we will get all the good innovations that we just obtained. Let me deselect all of them at the moment. Stop. Okay. You had 5 traditions as Uyghur, but the Saka have 6. So, I will keep... again, I'm talking as if we're still Uyghur, but we're clearly different. So, I will keep people of the Silk Road, because that's who we are. Scribes of the Steppe, because we don't forget about our heritage. Don't forget about the ones who, taught us such things. The Sogdians. They're the ones that brought Manichaeism over to us. We'll still keep xenophilic, as we have no negative opinion of other cultures. It makes cultural acceptance easier. Especially that as more you expand, the more you encounter foreign cultures. That'll make acceptance gain much easier. Religious patronage will still be retained, because I do like the idea of gaining lots of piety from building more temple holdings, and you gain renown by constructing and upgrading temple holdings for more easy renown gain. And we live in a dryland, so dryland dwellers is a must. Especially the further west we go, and that way it's all drylands. But there's room for one more. Let's see. Warriors of the Dry, that's for desert warrior commander traits more common, and some commander traits, special traits have extra dry terrain bonuses if we were a bit more monster oriented, so sounds like a good idea. And more levy size and all that. Caravaneers, Wanderers gain extra economic skills over time, such as stewardship, lifestyle traits. Idle courtiers are more likely to become wanderers. Saka caravanserai can be constructed in counties of this culture and allows to become adventurer. Faster army movement speed, that's always attractive to me these days. Linguists, you gain piety after learning a language, and each known language, increases, a bit faster now. Rulers of this religion want to learn languages spoken by co-religionists. It's a bit underwhelming. Frontier warriors can recruit Tarkans as men-at-arms. That's heavy cavalry, good against heavy infantry and other heavy cavalry. They do excellent in oases, drylands, desert, not so good in mountains and wetlands and later in the winter. Warrior of the Faith and Order members are seen as prestigious. Cheaper mercenaries, faster army movement speed, and if somebody raids us, it'll take more time for them to try to raid our holdings, which buys us some time to try to retaliate against raiders. So I'll take frontier warriors. Especially I find this idea of recruiting and maintaining a heavy cavalry force extremely attractive. Yeah, the Uyghur traditions did not have, anything like that, of those cultural traditions regarding anything that's martial related. But we're adopting a bit of this, since we live in this part of the world now. So there's a little bit of steppe heritage in us, but the only thing that's distinctly Iranian about us is this tradition here. Now for aesthetics. Military equipment. Tokharian or East Iranian? I'll keep Tokharian because, habit. And we don't really link ourselves to Iran that much. Also, I looked up the name lists of both the Uyghur and Saka culture. Unlike other Turkic cultures where the Uyghur belongs to, the variety of Uyghur names isn't that huge. And the Saka names is even less names. There's not that many names of the Saka culture, so we'll use both. Just to add a little bit of variety of names around here. Even if some of those names are a bit Buddhist-derived. But after all, you do live among the Buddhists, and you live in a Buddhist-influenced world, so it's not really out of place to use Buddhist names within Manichean communities, would there? In architecture, you raise your step in Iran, it looks the same. And we'll actually use fashion from both cultures, because the Uyghur is linked to the old steppe, but as you can see that I'm wearing Chinese clothing, because the Khotanese are more Chinese influenced. And I will use both coat of arms elements from both cultures of Iranian and Turkic. So there you have it. 9 vassals will convert to this new culture, including those who have been left behind in your steppe way of life, because you Uyghurs refuse to come to be in the times. So it's time for you to get with the times, old man. Get with the times, old man. Looking at you, Mayor. So they'll accept this new culture, and it'll cost this amount of prestige, difference in size within Rome. So yes, this hybrid culture, the only thing that's distinctively Saka or East Iranian about us is frontier warriors and bureaucratic ways. But we still keep a tiny bit of religious heritage in us regarding religious patronage. That came from spiritual. That's the only thing about us. Uygala Vamna, that's going to be the name. The collective noun, Uygala Havamnie, and prefix Uygala Vamna. keep in mind, I might use that term interchangeably as Uyghur Saka or Uyghur Khotanese. So again, I might use it interchangeably. But I can pronounce these two words just fine in my tongue. Uyghur la Vamna. So it is done. Zoom out a bit. Boom. Spurred on by positive relations and increased cultural exchange, the Uyghur and Vamna peoples have grown increasingly close over the years. Now, individuals from these societies have begun to view themselves as not one or the other, but as both simultaneously. A new Uyghur La Vamna culture. Uyghur traditions and values form the backbone of this new culture, while various Vamna attributes have been adapted and integrated to meet the needs of their new society. With the new Uyghur La Vamna people now looking to me for guidance, it's time to set the stage for our shared future. To a new age, new era, a new people. And I just noticed that the new culture head is this man. Crud. Well, I don't know if it matters a little, but it might matter if you pick a certain culture tradition. Unless I'll find ways to say, hey, you've done well in expanding the realm to the north. I have a feeling that there's going to be a day where we're going to have to let these nomads go. And then I'll be the culture head and all that. But or help them to find ways to feudalize them. Even though I can't do that, because that'll be at their behest. Or at least kick them out, even though this is a friend of mine. There will come a day where we say, hey, get out of here. And then we have to feudalize the realm, especially that we made such great wealth these days. And now here's another step. Revert back to Manicheaism. That's the next step. It'll cost you only 250 because of all these things. So the old faith will consider me as hostile, that's fine. Those who will not convert are mainly because they're already Manichaean, rather than anything else. They'll welcome me back with open arms. So, ready? Convert back. With the decision to convert back to Manichaeism, I arranged for a priest to come to my court and to conduct the rites. With the fate of my immortal soul in question, I can only pray that I've made the right decision. At least that's what I hope. Metaphysics aside, I can take comfort at knowing that the majority of my realm stands united under true knowledge, a true Manichaean realm. At least I have Nirmala to guide me. By the way, Nirmala, that's a Saka name. The Tapmish, that's Turkic name. So that's the merger of the two. Let's choose out a nun, member of the elect. And Ithaca. Oof. Actually, we can have a new one appointed right now. Oh yeah, you're supposed to fabricate a claim because we needed to get this guy out of here, this person out of here. No, never mind. Prisoners will be ransomed. Go on, get. Now we can build this temple, and how much it'll cost you? 700 gold, and it'll only take 18 months to build instead of 10 years. That's the base here. So, don't do anything. It's time to raise some money. Raise for the Grand Temple Building Fund. And once again, this is the end of Buddhist Khotan. So, we're grateful for all these. So now it's back to being Manichaean again. And now the Manichaean faith is much more widespread than it was due to the conversions. Those that are still Mahayana, well, no, they're Manichean too. Well, some are still Mahayana, but we have time to understand. But however, the titles are still being used in Vamna language, Saka language. But you can also call her Yingwa Kadyan or Yewa Qatun, all that, interchangeably. But it's clearly we're using the Khotanese Saka terms from then on out. At least the name Kolcho is still there, instead of Karakoja. Shabanok. Yeah, Shabanok is going to be the official term for Duke. That came from the Khotanese Saka language. Obviously, it sounds a little odd for you Westerners who have no knowledge of these kind of areas. But since we're Manichean again, now this gives us the ability to start holy wars. But we're not going to war yet. Instead, we're saving our money for two different things. 1. Construction of the Grand Temple. 2. We can have siege weapons now. And if you want, and it's very expensive, heavy cavalry. So let's save 700 gold for the Grand Temple Fund. And also have the ability to fund the construction of a Khanate, which will give me more benefits. So I'm very happy with this arrangement here. And also, I don't know if the mic's been picking up, but I hear rumbles of thunder outside. Because the last few days while recording, it's been rainy and rainy at times, but this is the first time where it's actually going to be a bit stormy in a bit, but still, that should be alright from here on out. Unless we lose power, but mind you, I'm recording on the laptop, which you can run without power, but I would not be on here for long because I would have to prematurely stop recording and all that. Feeling fine now. And look, I still have these modifiers left over from Buddhism. I'm still Chakravarti. Oh, son. Please, survive this. I mean, one of my ancestors, I forget who, survived consumption. And you'll survive too. Oh, you haven't adopted our ways? Hey, what are you doing here? Get over here. You're still in germ? Get over here so I can raise you myself. So you can adopt our culture and our way of life. Learned Shah's Turkic. Send my regards. Stop. What are you doing? Stop. I'm not terribly worried about the conversions right now. Well then, you've accomplished your goal. We created a largely Manichean state. Would there ever be a time where I decide to adopt administrative government? But all powerful vassals must view you positively, which is doable. Just invite them to the feast and be friends with them. But my priority right now is save the money as much as I can, and then we'll have this built. And it'll be done in 18 months' time, which will give me even more benefits of having more. Tax, holding tax, development, piety, renown, different faith opinion of others, control growth locally especially, and a different faith popular opinion, which is gonna be good. And all that. I mean, I wish I could travel a little, bring Silk Road merchants, and make a lot more money. That's the easiest way to do it. It's been a while. I'm a tutor. My court tutor calls our approach rate concerns the state of our educational materials. We can make do, but imagine the heights our children would reach if we had better materials, new wax tablets, parchment, perhaps even ink. Further education of my wards. Yeah, go ahead. I know I'm supposed to be saving money. Blackmail. Who are you? Oh, landless adventurer who resides here. Okay. You got me. What do you want? Money? Prestige? Something else? You here? Yeah. Okay. You're a charming child yourself. I will convert your Qatun faith. Because in case my son dies of consumption, you're my only hope. Just enjoy the riches that you have. Oh hey, you can recruit another step warriors. I'll spend little. More cavalrymen means... It means more, you know. Since you still have the greatest cons trait, you still have that ability with the siege progress. Lit only by a single candle. My finger pauses on the entry in the ledger. Something's not quite right. I soon am searching through every record from the Pata of Kocho, the old capital, that I can find. At last, it is clear as day. It seems as if an entire village has been gone missing from the taxation records. Well, I got a knack at stewardship, so I shall travel to the village personally. I'll lead the investigation myself. Shan's first in robing. As I patiently wait to fetching my clothes, the servant says, Lord, no one could find your garments. I'm surrounded by incompetence, I mutter, storming from my chamber. Bits of my daughter surrounds the room. I discovered that not only my raiments, but also the girl's weapons. I had no part in my lady. She dressed herself. Both Chin responds with a giggle. The Restuta, is that what you call princess in our culture? Or is that in... No, in our culture, yeah. Saka language again. So she's the princess of fashion, we'll call you that. As I arrive at the village, accompanied by my guards, I discover at last why the locals stop paying their taxes. Every house stands derelict and abandoned. There's no trace of any people at all, not even my collector. A slowly rising sense of dread overtakes me as my guards rummage through the side of the houses, quickly turning panic when one of them suddenly shouts, "What did you find?" Development growth cultural just decreased. The shouting guard comes out of a rotting doorway with a child under one arm. The girl attempted to avoid detection at the back of the house. "Do I demand answers?" The child offered no word of what happened to the village, or for that matter, any words at all. 12-year-old. Poor girl no longer has a home. I shall adopt her. Though not of our dynasty, obviously, but just to have her around at court. Ah, wish I adopt more children. Lily is safely at court now, playing and even speaking with the other children. Memories of the sound of village still haunt me, and Ed have not found a single trace of anyone who ever lived there. I don't care about the development growth over there, but I care about the popular opinion, so that cursed land must never be resettled. No wonder why we moved out of Kocho and decided to live here in Vamna. Centralization, more development growth here. You know, I ought to do more travel in order to get more, you know, all that. How much of the experience I have for this? I'm not saying I want to switch to this, even though you do have the experience for it. Because I would like to have, you know, inspection for the more domain taxes. So that means I better get my ass off of there and start going somewhere. Kasha Shabanok, also known as Kashka, which is a Turkic name for it. One second. Oh, never mind. I was thinking of something else. As I walk down the hall to hear some muffled laugh, that voice, I'm not used to hearing it so clear and bright. Push the half-open door, and there in front of me is my son and heir, Kubasar, seemingly recovered from consumption. My beloved son and heir is well once more. It's difficult not to shed a tear joy. Wonderful news! The living spirit be praised! He lives! Gotta find you a proper job for it. We're pretty good caravan master at this. Just need to find a right position, something for you to do. Average antiquarian. There's gotta be something you're talented at. I mean, is there anything that you're good at? Because you seem to be average on most things. Heck, not even a bodyguard. Perhaps I would have named you Caramas and all that, but for Master Horse, yeah, we need one. You. There will be a time I will advance to Samarkand because we still gotta enact that decision, establish the church at Samarkand. So that way he gets Samarkand as a theocratic vassal. When does that expire? I got a lot of modifiers. Where is it? Husband got sick. Steppe communities. It expires in 10 years' time. Right. Improved pastures, herding insights. Yeah, that's good. You know, there is one place. I could do a small pilgrimage here. Oh yeah, we can do Bema again. I just needed an excuse to, you know, get moving to somewhere. I recall there's these landmarks somewhere. Like I said, how about we pay a visit to over there? Visit nearby realm, because one of these areas, there it is. Martial learning. Or how about a trip down to India for stewardship? Oh yeah, is that disease gone over there? Over at Kosala? That, because you had a heck of an epidemic down there. You know, let's go to the trip to Punjab. I just needed an excuse to go somewhere. Just bring me Silk Road merchants and guards. So after we go to Lahore, you head to Jalaun, the Kangra Fort. And that'll give you more stewardship lifestyle experience. Learning, stewardship, learning. "10 months travel." And if we're lucky, you know, get more of the and how long is the pilgrimage to Bezek Caves take? Not spending 12 months. Okay, apparently it takes longer to get over there than it is to, you know, trip around there. Not to mention it costs more, but I want to have less cost. Yes, there is a danger of traveling there. So this is how it's going to go. You just go to there, and then you will swing by over there. It's going to be a lot of mountain traveling, so kind of dangerous. There you go to there, to there. Down there. To Lahore. To Jalaun. To Kangra. And then back home. Let's go. Just traveling with Silk Road merchants so we can have a chance to make a lot more money out of this. And as well as to gain some wandering experience. Because I like to become an inspector. Try all of us. Late. More time for trade. 67% chance of success now, but we still, At least you have a lot more chances now. This is the best way to make money. get money. Damn it. Seen that event before. That tends to happen a lot. Antagonize spouse. 51 gold. We need to get on the road to 700. Let me try. Yep, we learned that language. No. You figured it out. That's the word. Mum's the word. We're on our way to this place. Lake Dangra. The wandering lifestyle experience goes up big time. The pristine waters of Lake Dangra are believed to be the source of the universe, and of all sentient beings according to local belief. The unusual fertile lands around the lake allow the tilling of the soil. It is said that the ancient Zhangzong kingdom had a capital there. More delays means more time to make a lot of fortune. Alright, we're gonna get to build it soon. Because we're almost there. And then after that we'll start making more money, and I have the Silk Road merchant trait as well. Even better. See if we can make a trade. Investment failed. That's alright. Leaves it around. Let's get moving. Oh, son, I forgot something. Since you lived, and you do have a spouse for yourself, and you must have children, there is a way I can help you. Let me give you an artifact. It might help you out. 1 second. Get this off. Here. This will provide you fertility. All that you need. And I recall somewhere I have another artifact that gives me fertility as well. But I don't think so. I think that was it. Yeah. That was it. Something to help you out to ensure the future of our dynasty. So that's where the Gurkhas come from. Just realized that. But anyways. Alright. Let's do it. In 18 months' time, the Grand Tower will be built. It's not only going to be, a place to travel through. Increases legitimacy gain and piety gain for activities for holding funerals here. Go to work, you industrious people. And then now we got to start making some money to get siege weapons, and then we'll be back in offensive operations in the next episode. To the west we go soon, because wars will be fought fairly quickly instead of how it was back in those days. But still, looking back on that decision, I was probably perhaps a little gung-ho on it. I should have gained those guys independence, and then ditch them. Then there you have it. More and more. Okay. Create this. Send them all. Got it. It'll take a while for them to reinforce. And maybe perhaps we can get some Takans, because these are real killers. Based on the amount of damage they can put onto the enemy. Just give you more stewardship lifestyle experience. How much is it again? I didn't see the recruitment gold cost. 104. Damn. Well, start saving. Well, here's your learning. So if I'm not the culture head, then what's the point of having this? So go for this. Since you got a child to raise now. An adopted child, that is. The journey's been long and tiresome, and my feet ache so much that my ancestors must feel. I feel I'm about to collapse from exhaustion. I feel something heavy weigh on my neck. Before long, I'm adored head to toe in traditional Khanate garbs. The streets are alive with jubilation. Every house head beckons me to come inside and rest my wearied laurels. It only take a moment to regain my stamina. I would be welcomed as a guest of honor. Khanate hospitality is legendary. Can I really afford not to see it for myself? Perhaps just for a short rest. I traveled far from home, and the ice-cold winds are far behind. But first, the change of climate was pleasant and wondrous for my complexion. The air thick with moisture makes me feel I'm breathing through the damp cloth. The water is cooling and invigorating. It helps greatly offset the heat exhaustion, but it simply isn't enough. I need water. I was caught. Sorry. What else I could do? Bad water. While resting during our trials, we were resting when Lulu went to search some water. Seems she's really thirsty. Now have water to save within the water skin. Unfortunately, we realized too late that the water what drew from what looked like standing water. Many are aware that standing water, such as those found in marshes and wetlands, often dangerous for drinking. Perhaps she was too eager or thirsty and wasn't thinking straight. Anyways, feeling a little sick. I know some herbs. I can help you with that. Get moving. In one of the larger villages of Kolcho, a respected elder recently passed away. He was beloved by all for his virtue and wisdom. As a community leader for many years, he had good relationship with many and always strove to improve everyone's lives. Few had anything bad to say about him. His funeral attracted many who wished to pay their final respects. Even some claim his spirit will provide the land with many blessings before he passes to the afterlife. Grandfather's blessing. Bit more holding tax and development growth over in culture for the next 6 years. That's good. May his soul rest in peace. So he was widely revered and renowned throughout the region. His recently passed away. An intelligent and capable community leader. He had led the locals through thick and thin for many years. Some say that the recent prosperity experienced are thanks to his benevolent spirit. What the duck? The day on the road has been fairly calm and nondescript so far. Somewhere outside of Sakurai, And I close my eyes as my mouth brings me forward, one solid step at a time. As the wind plays a magnificent melody through the treetops, another noise carried out by the breeze, not from our entourage. Is that quacking? I isolate the sound to be coming from the shrubbery on my right-hand side. Follow that duck. Quack. I dismount to locate the duck in the nearby shrubbery. It starts wandering off in the wilderness. I would follow by foot. Suddenly the duck stops, tilts in my direction. Clearly confused why it's peculiar human follower. I smile at the duck, trying to ease attention, but the duck suddenly squirms 5 swing flies away. Was that a wild duck chase? Still got plenty of travel to go. We have about 6 months travel, approximately. Panjani men. I've seen the world and traveled and beheld its many wonders in my travels, but never beheld such beauties as the ones I've seen at Rahan. Truly, Panjani men are cut above all the rest. One particularly fascinating specimen is taking my eye was a peasant man by the name of Govinda. A pretty little rose. He's far too pleasing for my eye to spend his days serving away in Rahan. Well, that's a beautiful man, but I cannot give my love so freely. About to pick up another perk. Tax on. Increase collect taxes efficiency. The stories in the telling. The Panjani storytellers of Jammu are greatly renowned when I finally meet them, and they don't disappoint. I spend many hours sitting around the fire listening to their stories. It's a true joy to hear them speak. If you like stories, you'll love this one. Told a good one. +1 diplomacy, and vassals like me more. Oh, it's a fire. Well, my prowess ain't what it used to be. Venchik, you go. Nope. The massive chopping block in the middle of the logging camp in Gujarata has seen much use. It looks like it always been there, even before man walked this earth. My shoulders are tense and my forearm trembles slightly from the built-up stress as I approach the magnificent wooden trunk. I carefully place a piece of discarded timber at the podium, and in one swift motion I raise my axe. If I become one-legged, there goes my prowess and my dread. But I say no, manual labor's beneath me. Forests here are swarming with tiny, dark, blood-sucking insects. No matter what we do or where we go, there, leeching our blood like a tortuous cloud sent by the Prince of Darkness himself. Not only are the horses getting flighty and temperamental, but my entourage as well, especially my physician, into whose fiercely flaying our sanguine-covered arms. Push through, they are mere insects. Got a bit of a tiny penalty, as that was thunder you just heard, ladies and gentlemen. So as soon as we get back to Khotan, I will put an end to this here episode. Because, you know, it's getting a bit antsy here. No, thank you. I hate traveling. Muddy roads. Much like outside of my window, there's muddy roads here. So, come on. Get going. As I'm looking at the radar locally at my town, it's a training effect, which means one range settler just moved here, and then there's another. Alas, it appears the horseshoes and saddles are in the current need of repairs. This is nothing new for anyone who's traveled along the roads. Any travel by mount requires maintenance of such supplies. The villages of Jammu are home to some craftsmen who can repair our horseshoes and saddles for a reasonable price, of course. Or we could try to save on money and not spend on such horseshoes and shells until they actually break down. We make a lot of money these days, so pay the craftsmen. Better safe than sorry. It is nightfall, and the woman's hard at work when we arrive at the cereal fields south of Bhutar. She appears to be flattening crops at a rapid pace, using a large, flat piece of wood and heavy stones. I frown as I watch the woman performing her labor and inquire what exactly she is up to. She winces, and then starts on a long rant about how we need to wake up and meet our true masters instead of hiding behind the false Hindu teachings. I take a few steps back and hit surprise. Alright. Yeah, I'll revisit Kangra. Arauta Eret. It is known that the people of Pathankot seem to profess a special devotion to the Rauta and their legends. My lady, the Rauta says by himself, it is most fortunate that you and I came to meet at this crossroad. For I'm in search of a marvelous fountain which water is said to cure all illnesses. If you were to help me in my quest, I shall pay homage to you. What's your skill? Pretty good. How about join me and forget about all that foolishness? Thank. Yeah, it's pouring rain outside of my window. Come to the fort, and then in about approximately 4 months' time, we'll be home. And then I'll end the episode from there. Oh, and I would like you to take this opportunity to recruit these Tarkans and try to get them up to maximum size. As much as I dared, because we can afford them. We will be a very powerful military force once we unleash our armies to our way. So, pretty excited of what's to come in the next episode when we return to some conquesting. During my travels, I came to a rather friendly village in Chusul. The locals are respectful and kind of give us supplies. A few members of my traveling caravan suspicious, but nothing unusual happened. Such nice people out there. There's the wandering lifestyle perk. Mustering. You know, maybe perhaps I should ditch stewardship for a bit, because it's all defensive intensive these days. You should go for internal affairs. Yeah, might as well. The main limit has taken a hit, that's a good sign. So you should start with that. You get perks in a hurry, because I want to get this for more domain taxes and the ability to have inspections, among other things. So I should do some more traveling when I'm not at war, and perhaps I'll do a bit of that in the next episode, as we will. Oh boy, Kubasai, you got twins. Grandsons. Epak Kriti. Let's look at the names before we get out of here. Tolma and Uza. That sounds like twin sounding names a little. Okay, that's a good way to end this episode. The birth of the twins, twin grandsons. That's excellent. I'm happy for you. There is a future of our dynasty after all. Plus one adopted daughter who's going to be, you know, their aunt. That'll come one day. So, we hope you people enjoyed this episode, because in the next episode, the Grand Temple will be finished in 6 months. And then do a bit more traveling, unless I'm at war. um, because we're looking forward to expand to Samarkand, or in its, what culture is that? In a Kemek language, Simizkand, Turkic name for Samarkand, I guess. So, we'll see you in the next episode. But until then, so long for now.